Welcome back to the studio and another vlog about these little mushroom caps that are challenging me beyond belief. Let's open the kiln and see what we have today on our new firing. So we're back to the original kiln we started with. We're continuing to fire clear glass and we still don't have terrific results. Come on over here and check this out. Look, we still have a kind of a weirdo crazy taco going on over here. And look at this one corner here, one quadrant or fifth or whatever. It just is resisting bending and it's really kind of frustrating. So let's go ahead and take these out. This represents firing number 5. 5, can you believe it? Oh my gosh. So last time what we did was we decided that I was going to start working with some color because although we're learning a lot of stuff with these, I need to feed my creativity and my artistic flair, and with color, lots of color. So last time we made these cool little pieces with frit. They're clear glass and then we decorate them with frit. I did a tack firing, so there's texture there, not any sharpness, but you can feel it. It gives a little bit of color. And the reason I did a tack fuse was I wanted to retain the shape of the outer edge. If you go a little hotter, this would tend to shrink in a little bit, and I wanted to retain that shape. So here are the pieces we made. These have a little more color. This one, the color is dispersed a little bit. But I'm thinking on the next firing, what I'm going to do differently is I'm going to take the saw and I'm going to cut here and create like a pinwheel. And hopefully then the glass will fall and kind of envelope on itself and drape more smoothly and more evenly onto the mold. So the next time when I fire, I'm up to firing program number 5. Let me show you here. Okay, here's our progress so far, our notes. And on the final vlog, I'm going to have all this written out at the end for you so you can relate to it and use it. Also, remember, kilns fire differently, so you're going to want to test it with your kiln. All right, so what we're going to do next time is we're going to have a 5-segment program. Previously we had 3 segments, so we're going to add 2 segments. We're going to fire 300 degrees an hour, which I normally do, up to 1,000. We're going to hold there for 10 minutes. I don't usually do that, but I did it on the last program. We're going to do it again here. What we're going to do differently, we're going to go 300 to 1,200. We're going to hold there for 15 minutes. Before we held 10, so we're adding 5 minutes there. Then we're going to go 500 to 1445. We went to 14, let's see what we did last time. I'm sorry, I'm saying 1445. That's 1245. Oops, wrong. We went to 1235. This time we're going to go to 1245. And we're going to hold there for 10 minutes. So we increase the temperature and we're going to continue to hold. Okay, then we're going to go 500 degrees down to 960, hold for 40. That's the normal annealing temperature and time. Then 500 down to 800, we're going to hold there for 10. So what we've done is increase the hold heat. We've increased from the very beginning, very first program, we've added 2 holds, which we did not have before. I've increased the time of this hold, and I've increased the temperature of this segment. And we're going to see how that works. So this time, rather than doing clear glass, I'm going to use some color for fun, because I just want to see some different results and get some color in there. So this piece, though, so I'm going to do this nice pretty color for one, and I'm starting to maybe feel like maybe if that mushroom shape was a color instead of just clear, maybe I could start to like it. Maybe it would have some, appeal to me that it doesn't have in clear. So I'm going to continue trying that shape, seeing if I can get something that, I like. So I'm at the point where I'm thinking maybe I would do mushrooms and flowers. Why not? I got these molds, I got kiln space, I got the firepower. I have the firepower. I might as well do it, right? So I'm going to do a color for the mushroom. And the flower, I'm going to take this over to the saw and I'm going to cut some lines in this so that hopefully it drapes better when we use this new program with some new changes to the segments. All right, so I decided to draw some guidelines on here. Notice I've got my second pair of safety glasses on here because I'm all about eye safety, very, very important. And I want to make sure that this part of my face is protected with this part of the eye protection. And I'm lifting this up so you can see the sawing better and I can see it better, so this seems to be a good solution. Anyway, in order to ensure that I had accuracy on these and didn't get carried away, because I tend to get carried away, I drew lines with a Sharpie and then I took the lip balm and went over it so that when the Sharpie gets wet, it won't wash away. So I just took a ruler, I went in approximately about 1 inch on each of these indentations. Now we're going to go ahead and cut this. Saw's going to be kind of loud. We're going to, show you part of this, but not all of it because it's not all that exciting. Okay, check that out. It's kind of cool, right? I'm going to take my dry towel over here and just wipe that off. So I just generally use water to dry off, to wash my pieces. I don't generally use soap or anything. And if you use quite a bit of water, it gets that Sharpie off pretty easily, and it also gets the lip balm off pretty easily. So I'm going to take this and dunk it in my water bucket here, just so it gets really good and wet, and dry that off. And I'm thinking this might be our solution to getting these flower petals to actually drape. Now last week we also made these pieces with a little bit of color, and I'm pretty excited about those. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the notches in this one too while we're at it. All right, we're back over here by the kiln, and we're going to load these pieces of glass. So what makes this firing different is this time we're using colored glass on the round one. And on the one shaped like a flower, I've got these notches in there that hopefully will help encourage these pieces to drop more evenly over that, drape more evenly over that mold. So let's go ahead and load these in the kiln. I'll put this one over here, and I'm going to just kind of like move it around a little bit till it doesn't feel like it wants to slide off. And then we know it's pretty centered. We want to line up these tips with that part of the mold. So put that on there. And I want to look straight down at it and kind of judge, see how much of these tips are hanging over the mold to make sure it's kind of centered. And this one, I'm going to just kind of feel with my fingers to ensure that it's centered. Now we're going to close the kiln really, really slowly and carefully, because if we bump these and they fall off, then we totally lose our test. And that we've done enough testing. We want to get to the fun part of making something that we can actually put in the yard and enjoy. So I want to show you over here. Here's this one that I already put the notches in for next time. Since I'm so confident that those notches are going to work, I went ahead and put some in here, over there by the saw. I'm going to go ahead and put notches in this one. So after this project, these pieces are done firing, we can go ahead and fire these and get some really beautiful morning glory flowers. I want to show you, look, this has been our progress, our different stages of firing. This was firing 1 and 2. These pieces were 6 inches. And look, I don't even know what to call that. These pieces were firing 3, and they were 5.5 inches. See, I put notes right on here. Firing 3, 5.5 inches, 1335 was our top temperature. These two were firing 4, which they, got a little bit more of improvement here. This, maybe if it were in a color, would have a little more of a look that we like, but the way it is now, not so great. And this one still, this is where I was thinking, maybe this one would have some appeal if it were in color, if it weren't just plain clear. Maybe that could kind of, from a distance, be a very attractive mushroom. That's not really what I had in mind, but maybe it could work. I found another use for it. It's a little gnome cap. Except I would prefer my little gnome cap to have some color, because I love color. Anyway, so this one, like I said, I think maybe I could potentially start to like it as a mushroom cap if it had some color. And it wasn't so transparent, because you can see everything, so it doesn't really have that allure of being something solid. It's going to be visually solid. All right, then our 5th firing. We got a little more drop, a little more softness in the glass. Not a whole lot, considering. But, this is the trick with adjusting your programs, is you don't want to go too far, because then you don't know where to go in the middle. So really, you generally want to adjust either the hold time or the temperature. Generally don't do both. This next firing, I did do both, but in very small amounts, based on 5 different firings. You know, so I feel like I have a little more experience now that I can make those adjustments, you know, and try to increase the success rate here. And then this one, this was firing number 5. Look at this, we got great drop on 3 sides. These two just do not want to cooperate. So I don't know if this area right here is like snagging on the mold and preventing this. I don't know if it's the heat in the kiln not being quite even there, but I've had this pretty consistently throughout every one of these, even in the other kiln. So that's why this is a little bit of a mystery to me as to why it's doing that. So what we're going to do is hope that those notches on this next one will, you know, change this, soften that, and give it opportunity for the glass to kind of, you know, envelope or fold over on itself and not be holding itself up, but actually allow itself to fall down and drape. Welcome back. It's another day, and we have fired this glass overnight. Let's see what our results are in this kiln. I'm going to open it up. Oh my goodness. Wow, come closer. I'm pretty excited about our results. Look, we finally have a nice gradual slump drape on all 5 segments of the flower. And this, we've got a kind of a broad headband over here, broad brimmed cap over here, and kind of a scrunched cap over here, but I think I'm okay with that. So let's pull this one off first. And now it's going to be displayed like that. And then when you look at it from different perspectives, you're going to get different sort of looks. It's kind of cool looking. I think I could be okay with that as a little mushroom cap, or potentially as my little gnome hat now that it has some color. What do you think? Is it my style? Is it my color?
Matches your shirt.
Oh, well, there we go. Wall of flame. I'm on fire. Woohoo. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. All right, now let's put this very carefully right here because I'm pleased with the results. And let's take this flower out. Now look at this. Look how those crease, look, it folded over itself. They kind of creased. So those cuts allowed the glass to drape. Nothing is sharp, which is nice because of the firing. It overlapped a little differently here than here. This might be the side that was resisting the slumping or the draping all along. So we finally got it to conform to our will and got it to do what we asked it to do. And look how pretty that is on the inside. Now, it's an irregular shape. It's not perfectly uniform all the way around, but flowers are organic, you know, items, so they're not always uniform all the way around, so I think that's completely fine. So I'm really, really pleased with the way this came out. Love the color. Love that I have multiple angles here. We have a flat spot, we have a drop, we have this curvature here, and then we have this flare that comes down, which really, to me, enhances and really shows and gives me the feel of a flower. So I'm really happy with this. Haven't quite figured out how to display it and what to do with it yet. That's a different day. One obstacle, one, you know, challenge, one success at a time. So I'm really pleased with the 2 of these. I'm so pleased. I'll put these over here. Well, gosh, I almost dropped it. Well, check that out. It stands up on its own. Then I'm going to fire another mushroom cap. So when you're working with color, working with subject matter, you want to work in odd numbers. So if I have 1 mushroom, I want 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the kiln and fire it. And I'm going to put this in the kiln and fire it. And we're going to start collecting an assortment of 3 different mushrooms and 3 different flowers.